The United States is the 2024 Copa America host, and this will be their 5th time playing in a tournament. But how did they play in the other Copa Americas? That's what we're gonna see in this video. Every United States campaign in Copa America history.
Jones up there, the header, goal!
So let's start with the first ever time they played in a tournament, in the year 1993. The United States was gonna host the World Cup in the following year, and a squad needed to be prepared, so the Copa America would be a good test. That tournament was hosted in Ecuador, and the US fell into a group with the home team, Uruguay and Venezuela. The goal was to reach the knockout stage, but it didn't go as expected. The first match was against Uruguay, and the US needed to make a good impression. They even made a balanced game, but in the second half, Uruguay scored. The first game ended 1-0, and in the next match, another 2-0 loss. But wait, it was not over yet, cause if they just won the third game, the US would have been in the knockout stage. That was the most important match. They just had to win against Venezuela. So they went all in and scored 3 goals. Yes, 3-0, a perfect match. But in the second half, Venezuela also started scoring, and with a goal in the 89th minute, they equalized. So without winning a single game, the United States was eliminated, finishing in 12th place. But that was just the first they played. We'll see the other 3 campaigns, and the last one is when the US also hosted the tournament, making a surprising run. But before we go to the last campaign when they were the home team, let's go to another Copa America the United States played in the 90s. And that was in 1995, when they had the chance to redeem themselves and went for their second Copa America. And there they really surprised everyone. The US was placed in a group with Bolivia, Chile and Argentina, the current champion. Yeah, Argentina was gonna be the toughest opponent, but they could at least win against the other two. So much that the US squad had players who even played in Europe, like the captain John Harkes who played for Derby County, Thomas Dooley for Bayer Leverkusen and among others. So they went for the first match against Chile, and it started in a perfect way. Just 14 minutes in, they scored the opener. Eric Rinaldo scored the first goal and soon after scored the second. In a free kick, he made it 2-0. What an amazing match. But in the second half, Chile scored 2-1, and the memories of that draw against Venezuela in 93 came back. But Chile couldn't equalize. So for the first time, the United States won a Copa America match. They defeated the first opponent. But the last match was gonna be against Argentina. So knowing that they could lose to Argentina, they needed to win the following match against Bolivia to at least secure a spot in the knockout stage. But in just 20 minutes against Bolivia, Bolivia scored, and after that the US couldn't equalize, so they were defeated. What a disappointment. Now they needed a win against Argentina. Argentina was managed by Passarella, a former World Cup winner, and had stars like Gabriel Batistuta from Fiorentina, Zanetti from Inter Milan, and they were simply the current champions, having won in 1993. It wasn't possible for the United States to win, but just 20 minutes in,
A goal!
Klopa scored the opener. Everyone was shocked, but the US didn't stop there.
He's done well!
2-0. And when it seemed they couldn't surprise any further, Ronaldo scored a third. So the United States defeated Argentina 3-0. One of the most surprising victories in history, finishing the group in first place. Yeah, first place. They really proved that they could go far and in the quarterfinals face their rivals Mexico. Mexico was literally the current runner-up. Yes, they went to the final in 93. So they went to the match, and even with good chances for both sides, no one scored. The match went to penalties. And in a penalty shootout, the US scored all their shots, while Mexico missed twice. So the United States won and qualified for the semi-final. They were on fire, defeated the current champion and the current runners-up. But now, competing for a spot in the final, the next opponent was the current World Cup champion Brazil. If the US won this match, they would surely be champions. But just 13 minutes in, Aldair scored for Brazil. And afterward, no one scored again. So they were eliminated. Oh, and there was also the third place playoff, where they faced Colombia. But they lost 4-1 and finished the Copa America in 4th place. And now, after almost going to the final, let's fast forward 12 years, going to the third Copa America of the video, when the US had another chance in 2007. And they went there just days after winning another tournament, the Gold Cup. Yeah, the Gold Cup final happened literally days before. So since they had just played the Gold Cup, for the Copa America they went with another squad, with players that could surprise going far in the tournament. Like the keeper Casey Keller from Borussia Mönchengladbach, Jaden Merritt from Watford, Eddie Johnson from the MLS, Phil Haber from Hamburg, who also won the Gold Cup, and others. And their group had Paraguay, Colombia, and once again Argentina. This Argentina squad had Mascherano, Crespo, and a 20-year-old Lionel Messi. A tough opponent, and the first match was against them. Just imagine the US winning this game. They would be considered one of the favorites. And just when it seemed impossible, in 6 minutes, Johnson suffered a penalty. So he stepped up and scored the opener, 1-0. Could the US repeat 1995 with a win over Argentina? Well, just 3 minutes later, Crespo equalized, and the game remained like that. But in the second half,
Splits it through. Crespo rolls it home. Heinze drops it through. Diving header. They're in on the break. It's Tevez. Rolls it near post.
one of those goals was assisted by Messi, so the US lost 4-1. But wait, they could still go to the knockout stage by winning against Paraguay and Colombia. So they went for the first match against Paraguay, and it didn't start as expected. But after Paraguay scored the opener, Ricardo Clark equalized, 1-1. So the game continued. But at the 56th minute, Paraguay scored again, and in the end at 90+2 in a free kick, they made it 3-1. The United States lost again, and with 0 points, they could no longer qualify and were eliminated. But there was a third match, where they faced Colombia and lost again. So with 3 defeats in 3 games, they finished the 2007 Copa America in 12th place. That was disappointing. But then after being eliminated in the group stage, the next time the United States played in the Copa America, they did much better. And they not only played, but hosted the tournament. And for that, we fast forward 9 years to 2016. That was the Centennial Copa America, celebrating 100 years, and for the first time hosted in the United States. It was gonna take place in 10 stadiums across the country, including 6 that would also host the 2026 World Cup. Levi Stadium in California, Lumen Field in Seattle, and even MetLife Stadium. And this Copa America expanded from 12 to 16 teams. So they were divided into 4 groups of 4, and the United States fell into a group with Colombia, Costa Rica, and Paraguay. Their coach was Jürgen Klinsmann, an experienced manager who managed Bayern Munich and even coached Germany in the World Cup. The US squad included Aston Villa keeper Brad Guzan, forward Clint Dempsey, the young Christian Pulisic, left back Yadlin, who played in the Premier League, and others. It was time for the United States to show they could go far in the Copa America, and the first match was against Colombia at Levi Stadium, in front of 67,000 people. Only the top 2 teams from the group would qualify, so winning the first game was essential. But just 8 minutes in,
Cardona's delivery and turned in.
1-0 to Colombia. Despite having more possession, the United States struggled with Colombia's attacks, and James Rodriguez extended the lead with a penalty. All of the US hopes of having a good Copa America seemed to be going away. Then came the second game against Costa Rica. They had to win or they would be eliminated. All or nothing. And Costa Rica was the team that reached the quarterfinals of the previous World Cup. It would not be easy. So the game started, and just 6 minutes in, Costa Rica committed a penalty. So Dempsey stepped up and scored. Now they were leading and didn't concede any goals. They kept attacking and humiliated Costa Rica.
He does. It's left now to Jones. With his back to goal, but a chance to turn.
3-0 in the first half, and they even scored another, ending the match 4-0. A landslide victory. The biggest win for the United States in Copa America history, really showing they could go far. But even with this victory, if they lost the next match against Paraguay, they were out. So they went for this game at the Lincoln Financial Field, and Paraguay started posing more threats until the 26th minute.
It'll come through, Clint Dempsey.
Dempsey scored, and now the US was on track to qualify. So the game continued, and in the second half, something bizarre happened. Yedlin committed a foul and got a yellow card. But literally 1 minute later,
Dreadful start to the second half.
yes, he committed 2 fouls in 1 minute and was sent off. Now the United States was down to 10 players, and Paraguay began to dominate. But the keeper Brad Guzan saved everything and no one scored again. So by 1-0, the United States finished first and advanced to the knockout stage. For the first time since 1995, they were in the quarterfinals of the Copa America. and competing for a spot in the semifinals, they were gonna face Ecuador. A month earlier, they had won a friendly against Ecuador, but now it was a totally different match, competing for a place among the final four. And the game started balanced until the 22nd minute.
Plays it back. Jones up there, the header. Goal!
A beautiful goal to score the opener. Now the United States was leading, and in the second half, an Ecuador player committed a foul, receiving a red card. The US was now in advantage, but Jones was also sent off for fighting. One player sent off from each side. Jones would be out of the semifinal. Even so, the game continued, and the United States confirmed their place in the Final Four. Dempsey passed and Zardes stepped it in to score the second. 2-0. Now Ecuador was 2 goals behind and needed to score at all costs. So they went forward and even managed to get one back, but they could not equalize. The United States was in the Final Four, just one match away from the Copa America final. But now their next opponent was simply the team that played the previous Copa America final and even the previous World Cup final, Argentina. Argentina came with a very strong team. Mascherano, Lavezzi, Higuain and him. Lionel Messi. The United States had to do everything to prevent Argentina from scoring. That was one of the most important matches in US history. But just 3 minutes in, 1-0, and Argentina didn't slow down.
Messi with a rebound. Argentina scores. He cut it back, and there's another goal.
Argentina dominated and won the game by an incredible 4-0. They didn't give the US any chances and ended their dream of reaching a final. But wait, now they had another game, the third place playoff against Colombia. Maybe the US could finish with the bronze medal. But with a goal from Colombia in the first half, they lost again, finishing the 2016 Copa America in 4th place. They ended with 3 wins and 3 losses, but they made their best campaign ever. In 4 Copa America appearances, the US men's team finished twice in 12th place and twice in 4th place, the best in 2016 with 3 wins. And if you enjoyed this video, check out this other one that I posted. I think you're gonna like it. Thank you and bye.